Hi guys, it's Mika Martinez, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to optimize your Shopify store's site speed. If you don't know who I am the co-founder of 607 Media. I've been in the SEO space for over 6 years now, and I am a Shopify SEO expert. Um, so, you know, why is site speed important? Well, number one, it impacts conversion rates. Slow loading pages significantly increase the likelihood of potential customers bouncing or leaving your site prematurely. This is the bounce rate percentage metric you see on Google Analytics. This not only harms user experience, but also directly impacts your conversion rates and ultimately your revenue. Just check out this graphic from SEMrush. You can see how a longer page load time increases the probability of bouncing, right? And number two, slow Shopify stores impact rankings. A slow loading site will negatively impact your rankings. Look at this. According to Search Engine Watch, looking at the relationship between page speed and SEO ranking shows that having a faster performing site does impact ranking in a positive way, albeit slightly. Just look at this graph right here. So why optimize site speed? Again, if you want higher conversion rates, more revenue, and better rankings, you should optimize your site speed. So how do you optimize your Shopify store's site speed? So out of the box, Shopify is actually pretty quick. Here's the PageSpeed Insights result of my sample store. And the thing with my sample store is that it's super bare. There's nothing done on it. So you can see that Shopify stores are designed to load quickly. Their servers are fast, they leverage browser caching, and use a CDN. However, they do get slower due to factors such as the use of poorly optimized themes, overly high resolution images, unnecessary apps, and more. Right? So let's go through each of these issues so you can avoid them, because optimizing site speed is more about avoiding issues rather than actually doing something to improve the site speed. Because again, Shopify out of the box is already pretty quick. It's when we add all these unnecessary stuff that it starts to slow down. So number one, use a lightweight theme. If you're just starting out, choose a lightweight theme that's coded efficiently and isn't bloated with unnecessary features like sliders, carousels, etc. If you're looking for a free theme, I suggest Dawn. And if you have a budget, I like Palo Alto. And for most of you, if you're managing an existing Shopify store, you want to take the time to assess your theme for potential improvements. Consider whether you can switch from a slider to a single hero image. Maybe you can reduce the number of products in a carousel from 64 to a more manageable 8. Simple fixes like that can actually improve site speed. Okay, next, this is actually something that most people overlook and don't realize affects site speed, right? Choosing the right image file format. So for product images, you want to use WebP or JPEG. These formats offer lower file sizes without compromising visual quality. Just look at the example below. On the left is the original image. On the right is the image compressed with crush pics. And you can see that the images are practically the same, but the difference is that the image on the right side, the file size has been reduced by almost 50%, right? And then it doesn't compromise the image quality. Okay, and we'll go over crush pics more in the next slide. But for hero image and graphics containing text, WebP offers a great balance between quality and file size, while PNG can be used for lossless compression when absolute clarity is crucial. And for your logos and icons, use SVG. It's vector-based, ensuring your logos and icons are crisp and scalable across devices without increasing the file size. So you can see how using the right image format significantly reduces web page load times while maintaining visual quality. And as I mentioned on the last slide, we compress all our images with a Shopify app called CrushPix. What it does is it automatically compresses all your images, reducing your file sizes by about 50%, significantly improving your site's load times and enhancing user experience. Next, you want to reduce large image sizes. You need to be more aware of the dimensions of the images you're uploading, right? large images slow down your site, negatively affecting user experience and SEOs. Mobile users don't need desktop-sized images. It wastes data and load time. So these are two action steps that I recommend. Number one, resize your images before upload. Just make sure they're not, any larger than they should be. And number two, utilize SourceSet for responsive images. This basically allows browsers to select the most appropriate image size based on the display's requirements, right? And this is an example of how that may look, this piece of code. And what this does basically is it makes mobile devices load the smaller images, saving data and improving speed, while still making the high resolution devices load the larger images, ensuring quality. This is a little more difficult to implement. So if you don't have any experience with, editing your theme code, you may need a developer to help you. Okay, next, you want to implement lazy loading. Websites usually load all elements as soon as the page opens. This can lead to unnecessary loading of off-screen resources. For example, look at your collection pages. If you have a collection with 36 product images, when you load the page, you probably only see the top 4 or top 8 images max, right? The rest of the images the rest of the images are seen when you start scrolling down. What lazy loading does is it delays the loading of images until they're almost visible, meaning images further down the page won't load until the user actually scrolls to them, significantly improving initial page load times. So how do you implement lazy loading? So here it's basically just 3 steps. Step 1, add the lazysizes.js library to your theme's asset folder. Step 2, modify your theme.liquid to include the lazysizes.js script. And step 3, update your image tags. You want to replace the source attribute with data source and add a lazy load class to your images. Here's an example of that conversion, right? This is the standard image tag, and this is what it should look like when you want to lazy load that image, right? Instead of source, it's data source, and then you add the lazy load class at the end. Again, this is a simple change, changing source to data source and adding that lazy load class image, and this can significantly enhance your site's loading speed. Next, you want to uninstall unused apps. Apps can significantly slow down your Shopify store. You only want to install essential apps, which is very few. In the end, most functionalities can be integrated directly into your theme's code, bypassing the need for any apps, actually. And when you uninstall an app, it doesn't always remove its code from your theme, potentially leaving behind performance-draining residue. What you want to do is you want to use tools like Google's PageSpeed Insights to identify any third-party code that's impacting your site's speed. You want to focus on reduce the impact of third-party code suggestions. You can see this is how it would look like. And you want to look out for scripts from unused domains or apps and any code that no longer serves your current setup. And again, I advise getting a developer to help you with this. They can more accurately pinpoint and safely remove obsolete code. Next, you want to conditionally load app scripts. So what happens here is you can actually improve your site's load time by loading app scripts only when they're needed. By default, app scripts are often loaded on every page via the theme.liquid file. This can slow down your site unnecessarily. Instead, selectively load app scripts based on page type or specific conditions to ensure they're only used when necessary. For example, like product reviews, these scripts should only be on product pages. So you should only load these review scripts on product pages. Social share buttons, maybe these should only be on blog posts. So that's, you only want to include those scripts on blog posts. Other product page features like image zoom, custom options, etc. You only want to load these scripts on product pages. You don't want them on the homepage. You don't want them on blog posts. So you want to load app scripts conditionally. And this is how you do it. It's a simple if statement in your Shopify themes code. If you want to load something on a product page, this is how it would look like. You would input your product page specific script here. And for specific pages, here's an example. If you want to load something on your contact page, this is how you would do it. And you would put the specific script here. Again, if you don't have any experience with this, I recommend getting a developer to help you. Okay. Next, minify JavaScript and CSS. So the thing is, developers incorporate stylistic elements like spacing and comments into code for better readability. However, when it comes to executing the code, web browsers don't actually need these stylistic elements. This is where minification comes in. It's the process of removing all those unnecessary characters from the source code, spaces, line breaks, comments, etc., without affecting its functionality. This reduces file size, leading to faster load times. Here's an example of how that works. So this is how the code originally looks like, and this is what happens when it's minified. So you can see how that can significantly reduce file size when your whole site is made up of code like this. Okay, so how can you minify files? For non-developers, you can use an app like File Optimizer. It can automatically minify your JavaScript and CSS files. And if you want to go the manual route, you can use a tool like JS Compress for JavaScript. And to minify CSS, Shopify actually offers a built-in solution. You can simply convert your CSS files to the .scss.css format, and Shopify will automatically minify them. Okay, next, you want to async non-essential scripts. For scripts that don't immediately impact the user's ability to interact with your site, consider loading them asynchronously or deferring their load. So what are non-essential scripts? So non-essential scripts are basically scripts that don't affect the core functionality of your site. Examples include like live chat widgets, analytics and tracking scripts, etc. This diagram explains how different scripts are loaded. Like this is how it would look if it were loaded asynchronously, and this is how it would look if it were deferred, right? To implement asynchronous loading, you simply need to add the async attribute to the script tag. And for deferred loading, you can just use the defer attribute, right? Both methods allow your page to render and become interactive more quickly, loading these scripts in the background or after the main content, respectively. And here are examples. This is what it would look like if you wanted to load a script asynchronously. Here you go, it's async right here. And this is how it would look like if you wanted to defer the loading of the script. You just need to put defer right here. Again, this should be done carefully, preferably by a developer, to ensure there's no negative impact on your site's functionality. Okay, and last, use resource hints and preloading. Resource hints and preloading allow you to manage how and when resources are loaded. Utilizing these techniques can significantly reduce load times and improve user experience. These are the different types of resource hints: preload, prefetch, DNS prefetch, preconnect. And it's fairly simple how to implement these resource hints. You just need to add the appropriate link element with a rel attribute indicating the type of hint and specify the resource URL. Like you can see how that looks like in these examples right here, right? And you want to place these elements in the head of your HTML to ensure they're acted upon early in the page load process. So here are examples of how you can use this. You can use preload for resources you need immediately. You can use prefetch for resources for future pages to make navigation snappier. DNS prefetch and preconnect are great for third-party resources like analytics or social media buttons that will be used. Okay, and that's everything you need to know about Shopify site speed optimization. Again, don't ignore site speed if you want higher conversion rates and revenue and better rankings. And as you can see here, Shopify site speed optimization is only one aspect of the broader 10x Shopify SEO Accelerator playbook. To unlock an additional $20,000 in monthly profit, a holistic SEO approach is vital. So, you basically want to execute the whole playbook to actually get the best results, right? So what comes next? Topical map creation or keyword research. That's basically, topical map creation is basically keyword research on steroids. The goal there is to uncover every single keyword in your industry and create that topical map so you basically have a roadmap of all the pages, whether those are shopping pages, blog posts, etc., that you need to have on your site to establish yourself as an authority in your industry, right? And that's coming next. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. If you want us to take care of the SEO for your brand, just book a call. There should be a link in the description below. If you book a call with us, there's no obligation to work with us. At the very least, you end up with a free SEO consultation and an action plan that you can execute yourself. So that's it for now. Cheers.